Alright, hello, welcome back to another video on this channel. If you haven't watched the last video, this is my friend Tejas, who's just arrived in Adelaide, Australia in February 2025, pursuing a master's in data science from University of South Australia here in Adelaide. The last video we made was all about jobs and a reality check of what's going on in 2025, what can people expect in the coming intakes. But this video is all about another popular topic, which is accommodation. While being another popular topic, it's another pain point that a lot of students, international students have. So this video is going to be about your experience, how you found your current accommodation, what the rent is like, what your friends are up to, what other sources or platforms or accommodations you considered, and how are things now, and advice for people who might be looking for their new accommodation when they come, because it's one of the very big things that should be sorted.
It's the most important thing, if you ask me.
Most important thing. So let's talk a little bit about your experience. When did you start your accommodation search journey? A little bit of background. Tejas was supposed to come in July 2024, but he didn't get his visa at the cutoff time, so he had to basically postpone it to February 2025. So off to you.
Okay, so basically initially I had this accommodation. I assumed that I'm going to get my visa on time. So I had booked this accommodation through this website called Amber. So I just went there. I just found this accommodation which is closer to the university, and I just booked that. But then unfortunately I didn't get to go to Australia, so I had to cancel that, and I got all my bonds and everything refunded, which we will touch on later. So and then after that, like the same time in July, I basically applied to this place called as Capital Student Stay. So it's a pretty high demand place, I would say, because it's always like full, and it's very close to uni. I'm talking about the Mawson Lakes campus, Uni SA Mawson Lakes campus, which is in the north part of the city.
So if you're pursuing anything around IT at University of South Australia, most likely 90-95% your campus will be in Mawson Lakes, which is not in the city. It's about 10 to 15 kilometers from the city. Also around 20 to 25 minutes train ride from the city.
Correct. And that including engineering degrees as well, and aviation as well. So all of those courses are in the Mawson Lakes campus. So
according to your campus, your preferred accommodation would have been either in Mawson Lakes or in the city, and you chose to go for Capital in Mawson Lakes.
That is because it's how close in like the campus is. For me, it's just like a walk, 2-minute walk. So this accommodation was pretty good in that way. So I applied in July. I was on a wait list, and by the time it became December, I was in the top of the wait list, and I got a call, and they asked me that, do you want to go ahead with this? And so basically the accommodation I chose was a 3-bedroom house with one shared washroom, with every common washroom for all of us. So I chose that, and the rent came up to $265 per week. So
including utilities?
Including utilities as in?
Bills,
everything, including everything.
So private bedroom in a 3-bedroom shared apartment, but 3 people share the same washroom.
3 people share the same washroom, and a kitchen. They have gas cooktop, so that's one more thing I liked. So a lot of these places have electric, which is really problematic if you ask me. It takes a lot of time to cook, so a gas stove is really quick, and it's better. We're used to it back home. So these were the things that I added on. So I just they asked me to pay 1 week rent, and you can just come to Australia and pay the bond, and take it forward from there. So
for anybody who might not know what a bond is. Bond is generally 4 weeks or 6 weeks worth of rent that particularly student accommodations, and also if you're going for a private rental, to take from you at the start of your tenancy. And then you get back that amount when you're leaving that particular place.
It's something like an advance when you rent out a place in India, right? We call this as the advance. And in my
basically
case,
like a security for them.
Security
if you
deposit.
Make any, if you ruin their property altogether, they'll keep your bond. And once you're moving out as well, if there are any cleaning charges, that is technically cut from your bond, and then you get the remaining amount.
Yes, in my case it was 2 weeks bond.
2 weeks.
Like most of the student accommodations, the first one I booked was also 2 weeks. So I think it's for student accommodations it might be 2 weeks.
For student accommodations like Scape and other organizations that I've mentioned before, it's 4 weeks.
Okay.
For your capital and the place that you booked through Amber is 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
So that was $260 per week.
265.
265 including all bills.
Yes.
That's great. How did you get to know about Capital Student Stays?
Amber. So basically, initially it was. I mean, like if you just go to Google and search nearest accommodations for Mawson Lakes campus.
Yeah.
First thing that pops up is Capital Student Stays, and the second link would be Amber. So so I saw the Capital page, and then I applied through there, but tough luck, I didn't hear back. But when I applied through Amber, it really worked well for me. So yeah, I did hear back, and then I got to know that I'm on a wait list at least, and then like in 2-3 months I just got my accommodation there. Yeah.
So as you mentioned, it's a very highly competitive place.
Yeah.
What number on the wait list were you, and how fast did it progress?
I think it was at like 60 or something of that sort.
In July?
In July, by the time it became December, I was on the top. So I was given a call and checked if I wanted to move in.
And how do you get on the wait list? Do you just have to fill a form? Do you have to pay a fee?
So you just have to fill a form. So you go to the website, and then there's this form which you just fill in your details, your passport details, your visa details. If you don't have your visa, that's fine. You just fill in the basic details, and you just submit it to them, and then they just put you on the wait list. That's about it. Simple as that. Yeah.
Okay. And let's move away from Capital in particular. Let's talk about the factors that come in when you're booking accommodation that you haven't even seen.
Yeah.
So what factors did you consider except location and commute? How did you judge how did you trust the property, and how did you go about it? Because you must have come across any other platforms and accommodations as well.
So the thing with Scape was it's a pretty trusted platform. So I mean, I did check a lot of these Google reviews as well, because I don't want to get into some scam.
Yeah.
So it seemed legit, and then good reviews plus the trusted platform kind of helped me to trust in the process. That's the main things I guess. Like I didn't think too much about it.
Yeah.
It was pretty simple. I just saw like these two things were good, so why not go ahead for it? Yeah.
A selfish shameless plug, I have a playlist with all the not all the accommodation tours, but a lot of popular accommodation tours in Adelaide. So if you want to have a look, it basically gives you a real life perspective of what the actual accommodation looks like, what the rooms look like, what the space is actually like. So have a look if you want to. Coming back to the topic, what did you feel your friends did? How did they land on the current accommodation that they are in?
Okay, so most of the people I know used Amber to basically apply. So I also have observed a lot of my other friends did use like Facebook Marketplace and places like Gumtree to find their accommodation. But the only problem there is that you can't really trust them, because at times there's a lot of scams happening where you might lose your money and then you might pay and then you come here and land there's nothing over there. So that can happen. So that's the risky part of things. That's why you just stick to Amber or their own website. Like for example, Scape has its own website. So the Switch has its own website. Capital Student Stay has its own website. Just stick to the basics and do that. Or if you can trust the Facebook source, you can do that. Or you have some friend who's already in the city, probably like who's already in Adelaide. You can ask them to help you to find a place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if someone doesn't have the budget for a student accommodation and they want to go for a private rental? What do you want to give them? A reality check? Is it very hard to get a private rental? How do they go about it?
So I would say it's not just hard, it's almost impossible to get a private rental, because a lot of these
by private rental we mean a full house, like a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house on your name, just on your name.
So it's really, I would say it's not impossible. I would say it's almost impossible to get, because a lot of these owners or the localites who would prefer someone with a credit history or some sort of
rental history,
job, rental history, pay slips and all those things. So without that, I don't think they would even care to give you the house for rent. They might find someone else better, and you might not even come on top of that list. So I would recommend just stay in some sort of student accommodation for the first 6 months at least. Build some sort of rental history where you have a lot of these bank transactions, like showing that you're paying your rent on time and stuff, and then use that and leverage that to get a private accommodation after 6 months. It might work out then. And
you might have a lot of friends, acquaintances who basically winged it. Maybe They came here and lived in a hotel, in an Airbnb, booked something off a Facebook Marketplace for a short time, and then wanted to move into, a house, a private rental. Do you have any stories, any experiences of them?
Not a lot actually. A lot of them already had prepared. A few of them actually took up hotels. A few of them took up Airbnb, like you mentioned.
That might be very expensive.
Really expensive. You bleed a lot of money there because it's. You might as well get it booked before and come here. But again, a lot of people did that considering the fact that, they can come here and probably find private rentals. But they got a reality check that you got to have rental history in the first place to get the place. So they ended up coming to places where I stay. Eventually. So that's what I would say.
Got it. And did they have any luck through Facebook Marketplace? Are there people who had a positive experience as well where, as you said, a lot of people like to sort out their accommodation even before they land.
Correct.
Maybe some people got a good deal through Facebook Marketplace, Flatmates, Gumtree, anything?
Yes. So I have friends who have used Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree. Pretty satisfied. I mean, I'm not saying that you're always going to get scammed, but there are chances that you might get scammed. So I'm not saying that it's going to happen always, but there is a chance that it could always happen. So you've just got to be careful. If you see any red flags, just stay away from that. But that's what I would say about this.
And what are the, as we briefly mentioned, bond, what are the first sort of expenses that came when it comes to particularly accommodation, be that setting up your room? What did you get into your room? Did you get just a mattress? So what was it like?
So my room came with a mattress and it did not have a pillow. That's about it. So I got all the other stuff back from home. So the covers and all those stuff. So it's not very heavy. You can just get them. So I got that from back home and I just went to Kmart. Kmart's a really good place where you can just go and buy all your basic stuff. For example, I didn't have the cutleries. So I just went to Kmart and I just got all the cutleries from there. And then and then I got a pillow as well from there, and the basic stuff from there. And I found a little bit of Indian shops to sort my groceries for the first few days. So that's about it.
And one of the last questions: what is it like living in a shared house with people from different cultures?
So by the way, as a background, my roommate, one of them is from Australia and the other one is from South Sudan. So it's a very different experience, different culture.
Both of them are studying?
One's a undergrad and the other one's a PhD, like he already teaches. And then I am the master's student there. So we have the entire thing covered, all the boxes ticked. So it's pretty cool, it's very different cultures, like for example, nothing personal, but they have their own cultures. For example, somebody might not like to cook, somebody might like to, overcook, somebody might like to, just keep bugging you and stuff. It's fun and irritating at the same time, but it's a different experience as a whole, right? Why not live it? That's what I would say.
Okay, the last question. Now, I think what your plan that you told me was that you live in a student accommodation for 6 months and then move out with friends in a private rental. Now you've gotten a job, so you'll get pay slips, you have credit history. Have you found people with a similar mindset where they've also booked for 6 months? Have you made a group of 3 to 4 people who'll start looking together? What does it look like?
Most of the cases, that's what happens. Like a lot of us, it's like a roadmap sort of. You come here, 6 months you stay, you get a good rental history, and then you go for a private accommodation. But I've observed a lot of them, interestingly, who end up staying in the same accommodation for the entire 2 years because they prefer convenience.
Fair
because enough. They want to, they take the study seriously at times and they just want to stay in the same place. They like it. Some people like to stay in the same place.
It's comfort zone.
Comfort zone. So I've observed that as well. So both sides of the coins. But in my case, I have a few friends who are willing to, come along, and we have to start looking in probably in a month or so. Because time's it's going to expire soon, so I have to start looking. So
And for the people who are deciding to make the move abroad and booking accommodations, how early do you feel they should start doing the same?
6 months.
6 months before you come?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just good to be early in on. It's not just about accommodation, everything, but accommodation, I would say just be quick, because the later you book, there's a larger chance that you might miss out on that room because someone else might have already booked it. So that's the problem. So the faster you come, the better the chance. For example, if I had applied for Scape 6 months, Capital Student Stay 6 months back, maybe like 2 months before I would have arrived, there would be a vacancy and I would have gotten the room. But comparatively, if I had applied only 2 months before coming here, I wouldn't have gotten the room.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. So the earlier you are, the better it is for you, because it's faster to get a room. That's about it. Yeah.
So that's everything about student accommodations in general in 2025, and a bit of a path forward as well for people who are coming now. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments below or anywhere here. All the organizations that we mentioned, have a look through their website. Their links are in the description below as well. See what suits you, what suits your commute, your location of study, and go from there. I think the next video that we're going to make is going to be about finances, as previously mentioned in the last video as well. So keep an eye out for that, because this is real student experience who've just come in 2025, and telling you what things are like. So I'll see you in the next one.